What are your thoughts on Ray Dalio's somewhat recent comments as well, suggesting that Bitcoin is just this tiny thing, it's not effective as money, it's not a store of value, and it's not a medium of exchange? What are your thoughts on that?
Ray has not done the work, just like our friend Mr. Munger. That's really clear. He mentioned something about an inflation-linked token or something. I mean, talk about somebody who, it could only make that type of perspective if you haven't actually done the work on Bitcoin and really truly understand what problem it solves. Bitcoin fixes inflation. It is the antithesis of inflation. It cannot be inflated. Inflation doesn't exist on a Bitcoin standard in the way that we think about it today, right? We think about prices going up across the economy in a general way because the money is broken. But if the money is not broken, then any increase in prices in one part of the economy must be counteracted by decreased prices in other parts of the economy, because you're using 21 million as the end-all be-all in terms of your unit of account. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not a little bit of credit in the economy that allows for some bubbles here in small amounts, but you don't have this general inflation problem that you need to keep up with. You can just hold your value in money. So Bitcoin addresses inflation. It fixes that problem. And Ray's comment that we just need this inflation-linked currency or inflation-linked token, that's really what would solve this problem. It's just not thinking about it from the right way. Assuming that was the problem, then you have to solve, well, who's going to control what that inflation rate actually is, and who's going to manage the supply of that token. And you're back to exactly where we are now with a group of 12 people sitting in a room talking about, what short-term rates should be trading at, and trying to influence the market with their rhetoric. That doesn't work. It's exactly driving the issues that we're seeing today. And so we just need to move completely away from that train of thought. And I think once Ray starts to make those connections, he's going to allocate to Bitcoin in size. Him and a lot of these people control a huge amount of capital. And when they start to make these connections, let's just say that the door is very, very small to fit all of that capital. So going back to your original question, Bitcoin is tiny. It's very, very tiny compared to the pool of capital that is out there, compared to bonds, compared to equities, compared to debt in the world. And Bitcoin is going to suck all of that value out of those other assets. And it's like, trying to fit the ocean through a garden hose. The only way that works is if that hose gets much, much bigger. So I really do see Bitcoin as like this black hole of capital, capital allocation sucking away from these other like near money store of value assets like real estate and stocks and gold, that people are using to save money in, but that are less than ideal relative to Bitcoin for that purpose.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way I kind of think about it is, like you said, there's this pile of capital that needs to accumulate Bitcoin, but they don't know about Bitcoin, or they don't fully understand it. And the only way that that's going to ever happen is the price of Bitcoin is going to expand rapidly.